I think pretty good. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here with us today. I'm Leslyn Keith with Lipedema Simplified, and I've been enjoying meeting with a lot of our speakers that are going to be at our upcoming virtual event conference, our Heart to Heart event that's happening April 17 to 19. And today I have one of our wonderful speakers. It's my first opportunity to meet Vanessa. And Vanessa Armstrong is, um, she is and it just went off of, I have my little bio for you, Vanessa, and it just went off of there. So, but Vanessa is a wonderful, she's a coach about health and mindset, and specifically living with lipedema. She founded Keto Buddies and lipedemacoaching.com.au. She created a program called 321 of Simplified Keto Method. She is just an amazing person, and I'm so thrilled that she's here with me today and is going to be presenting at the conference. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Leslyn. So nice to meet you in person.
And Vanessa, you were telling me a little bit about your background and your story before we came on, and it's absolutely amazing. And I would just love for you to share first how you got into your work with mindset and coaching and keto, and then how this has really transformed to almost specifically working with women with lipedema, and for a large part, along with other clients that you have. So tell us that story. It's absolutely fascinating.
So it's a very personal story. At the root of it was my mother's health, and she was very unwell. And so I was doing research to try and help her. And I was living in an obese body and had been for predominantly most of my life. And so I couldn't ask her to do something different, basically, if I didn't. My mother was suffering kidney failure, type 2 diabetic, and had been told she probably wouldn't be alive by spring. So I found Dr. Jason Fung, actually, and because my mother's Canadian and she lives rural. And so I flew home and I said, okay, well, we need to try basically keto and intermittent fasting, etc. And she said, but that's not what my diabetes educators say to do. And I said, well, clearly it's not working because they've told you you're going to be dead, basically. She was on oxygen in a wheelchair and very unwell. So while I stayed there for over a month, I cooked for her, I froze food for her, I educated. And so I went along the journey. I had to come back. I live in Australia. But 45 days after I left, so basically the 90 days in total for my mom, she was off her oxygen and able to walk better and proceeded to lose obesity weight herself, got her blood sugars under control. And then I continued to release my weight in Australia and drew a lot of attention. I worked in a corporate world at that stage. And people started asking me for help. And I said, well, I can't help you. I'm not qualified to help somebody, kind of thing. But then I just, as a friend, would help people. I'd always worked in management and coaching per se. But ultimately, life was out of balance. I worked a very stressful job, which contributed to how I sat in my body and how my body reacted. And I lost over 100 pounds, over 45 kilos, using a simplified keto approach that I designed because I lasted one day doing macros and using an app. And I was like, not sustainable. And I think so many of us have a huge PTSD from a diet culture and thinking it never worked for us.
Right.
But for me, it addressed the root causes. It addressed my inflammation. It addressed insulin resistance. It helped with pain. I had brutal plantar fasciitis in both feet, which means you can't actually move your body because it's so painful.
Right.
That stage, I had all the signs, the skin tags, poor sleep, no energy, everything. So for me, it worked. For my mom, it worked for a really long time. And I lived it sustainably. I made a decision to leave my corporate role and go and study to be a health and life coach to help. People don't just need the how, They need a little
Right.
bit of a safety net, basically, and
Yes.
to do it
Yes.
differently. So the coaching
Yes.
aspect that I tie in is how to make it so that you're not on a diet roller coaster. So you're connected to a why, that it's not a straight line, and that's okay, and build a
Right.
tool for you. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And so you attended one of our first heart to heart events. Actually, before we started doing breakouts and having people talk a lot, it was just presentations and maybe some Q and A's. And because of the time difference, you had to watch the replays. So talk about that experience of
So,
learning, connecting with us, and then how that happened after that.
so I purchased that from my work point of view of coaching women, because I predominantly work with women in large bodies. And I was only watching it through the lens for a work aspect. I never associated lipedema with myself. Um, I had released a lot of weight, so I was now moving my body and didn't make that association. I probably went another 8 years before I had imposter syndrome, basically. And
Mm-hmm.
I was turning 50 and thought I'm ready for another like little push in health. And I still had this shape. And why did I have this shape? I might not look like a health coach. And then my massage therapist, who had seen me release my weight over the years, said, "Do I give you these bruises?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm a walking bruise. I've been a walking bruise my whole life."
Mm-hmm.
And then another time she said, "You have all these lumps." And I said, "Isn't that normal?" And she was like, "No." And I said, "Well, I don't go around feeling women's bodies. I don't know it's not normal. I've had them my whole life."
Right, right.
And she said, "Oh, that's fair enough. I should probably tell people more often when I think something's different." So
Mm-hmm.
from there, my Facebook feed obviously changed. My Instagram changed. It was listening. And I caught a lady, and I'm not big into social media. I'm not good at it. My social media is very little and lacking.
Yeah, you and me both.
It's not where I like to spend my time. But this woman kept dancing on my feed, and it's not my thing. But one day the font was large enough, and it said, "Are your legs like tree trunks?" And I use that in my coaching all the time, that I have gratitude for my tree trunk legs, that they take me where I want to go. They allow me to do the things I need to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so I stopped. And she was one of the US podcast ladies for lipedema. So I was like, I have tree trunk legs, I have bruising, I have pebbles all in my body. If I eat to low carb or keto, and I've been maintaining for over 8 years, so I'm not in ketosis most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have inflammation, I don't have pain. If I go on holiday and I have whatever I'd like to have, or if I overconsume on something, I absolutely have instant pain. If I don't move my body every day, I have instant pain. So it doesn't go away, but it's very, very controlled and manageable if I am consistent with the food that I put in my body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, and once again, that your own experience, I mean, you didn't want to have your mom do something before you tried it yourself. And so how do you feel like you're now diagnosed or even self-diagnosed with lipedema, and how has that influenced your practice working with women who also have that diagnosis?
Yeah, so I did get formally diagnosed in Australia and both overseas. And I did choose ultimately to protect the work that I have done and the conservative measures and life I've been living, with elements of surgery. And I traveled to Germany for that. So I had been living conservatively for over 8 years with the food as my original superpower. I love water aerobics, and I was always in the pool. So that was something that I built in, because before I could do, I now played a lot of tennis. I went to the pool because I could move my body in the pool before I could move it on land.
Right.
So I had kept that. So the only thing I really added was an element of compression prior and after surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you decided also to pursue surgery, which that you may not even have known that this was a way of managing your condition prior to getting that diagnosis for yourself.
Yes. And when I first got my diagnosis, I was adamant in my mind that, well, I don't need surgery. I don't want surgery. Mm-hmm. That's a big risk factor. And so it was a very roller coaster of emotions of what's next. But ultimately, I landed on just trying to protect the work that I had done to give myself more longevity and health around that. But I would not have been ready for surgery had I not been living conservatively and working the tools for a substantial amount of time, because both in recovery and physically and mentally, like it's not just a physical recovery, it's a mental recovery. So understanding and appreciating your body for all that it is. Because you can have surgery and your body may not land where you want it to land. You know, it can still change through life. And that's actually normal, whether we have lipedema or we don't have lipedema. You know, so we have to be really prepared mentally for all that can come and will come. So I was ready for it, but I wouldn't have been if I just had been diagnosed and rushed to surgery. Yeah.
Yes. And for that reason, and many others, the surgery isn't a first line treatment, but it certainly can be part of the your overall plan of what you're going to be doing. And you're talking about having your mind be in the right place in order to do things like surgery, as well as your body to be in the right place. That speaks to what you're going to be talking about at the conference. And so I'd like to tell everybody the title of your talk is kind of long, but it really says it all: motivation to get started and stay the course, building habits at any age, stage, or size. I think it's going to be a brilliant talk. Vanessa, can you give people a little taste of what you're going to be talking about at the conference?
Yeah, so I am very passionate and working with women, and in Australia we do pronounce it lipedema. So sorry, lipedema.
No, that's totally fine. Continue with that. Yes.
So about the any age, stage, or size, because I work with women who are on the myriad of the age and stage, and nobody should feel that they do not have hope to be able to have some agency over this disease. I personally, when I speak about myself, I call it a condition. And the reason is because of mindset. So we quite often can have an association that we have more agency or control over something that's a condition than a disease. So while we need it to be recognized as a disease for support and medical and professionals, that may be a tip that might help some people with having an element of control. So I help people understand what is in your control at the moment in this day, and it could be different tomorrow and it could be different in a month. So how we run through building you out a toolbox to understand that. I have what we call the 5 C's, which is a structure to help people move through their day and to build hope, because we all need hope. And at any age, stage, or size, we can still move towards having increments of improvement, and they all add up. So adjusting our mindset that 1, we need to be perfect. 2, we need to have all of a sudden like fireworks going off and everything's like perfect. That doesn't exist. You know, it's about having consistency. That's another one of our C's. And building on that and understanding that the little things all add up. And that our mind is as powerful as our body, and we need to pair them together in everything that we choose to do. And everybody's path can look differently, and that is okay. And what we can do one day may not be able to be done the next day, but that's totally okay and actually normal. So preparing for that, understanding that that is not failure.
Yes. Yeah. I think that people may think when they're new to this condition, as you say, that you develop a treatment plan, a strategy for self-care, and that's what you stick to the rest of your life. And that's, as you're saying, not so. It could be changing day to day. It could be changing by the season. It could be changing because of different life circumstances. So I really like how you are giving people to power to understand and know that they don't have to establish a plan and that's it. And there can be no deviation from it.
And knowledge is our superpower. So that's a fundamental principle that I coach with, is that diagnosis, while it is for some people incredibly overwhelming, and you will have all different emotions that come with it, that if we can allow some space to actually understand that it could be your superpower, that you have this diagnosis now, and that all the things that we can put in our toolbox, we don't have to do them all, but we can have knowledge about them. We can reach to them at different points in times, but we can also put some space between that toolbox and the disease, because so many things in the toolbox are actually just health and longevity tools that people that don't live with this understand the importance of it. So moving our body in a gentle way each day, fueling our body with foods that don't create more inflammation in our body. These things are actually what people who are really tapped into their health are doing. So sometimes I feel people get really down and say, oh, I have to do all these things and it's because I have this. If we could put a bit of space between that thinking and actually just say, hey, I'm actually doing things for myself, for my health and longevity. I'm connecting to what's important to me at this point in time in my life, and who in my life is important, and why I want to show up and be able to be present and enjoy and make experience with people that I love. Then we can take away some of the heaviness in the mental game around, I have to get up and I need to go on my vibration plate, or I have to go to the pool. We could get to say, hey, I choose to go to the pool today because it makes me ultimately feel better. It may be, a lot of scheduling. It may be hard on some of our bodies to go to the pool, to get in and out of the car, to find the parking spot that's close enough. Do we need assistance? All these things are true, and we don't diminish them, but we can shift our mind a little bit about how we think about them. And then the outcome also can feel different.
Yes. Yeah. That's all great stuff, Vanessa. I really look forward to your presentation at the event. And you do a lot of stuff with diet and nutrition, but you also look at the whole spectrum of the things that are available to someone who has lipedema. And so I look forward to also having you back to our fall event when we talk about the holistic approach, and you can talk about, integrating all these things and knowing that people have choices, not only choices in how much carbs you're going to restrict, but also choices in, am I going to do vibration today, or am I going to do the pool today? Am I up for doing this today, or am I going to take the day off? So that type of mindset stuff for really our all over care is something that I think we'll need at the next event as well. And so everybody remember that we are getting together April 17 to 19. The link is down below. Right now it's only $97 for the 3-day event. You can get a premium upgrade, so you can have all of the replays and also some additional get-togethers with Vanessa and our other speakers. So go to that link, find out more about the event, join us. It's going to be fabulous. And then Vanessa, we'd also like to put below links to you, so people, I mean, because you do your most of your coaching, I'm thinking, is online. Yes.
All online. Yes.
Yes. So we would like to put your links down below. Let's see what this one person says. I am preserving mobility for years to come and keep myself more freedom. So again, that mindset, would you say?
Absolutely, for sure.
Yes.
Health and longevity. That's what we're
Yes.
aiming. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And a more quality of life, maybe not quantity, but while we're here, let's feel better more often. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's really fantastic to have made connection. And I'll just share a free resource that actually Carrie, who is also going to be speaking.
Yes, and Carrie Reedy is also one of the hosts for our event, and she's the one who told us to reach out to you. So yes, go ahead.
So we've actually started a podcast, and it's called Empower You. It's available on Spotify and Apple, and there's, I think, 2 or 3 episodes that have dropped. Mm-hmm. And we're creating a capsule, basically. So if you are new to diagnosis, or you are overwhelmed with what to maybe consider or do next with conservative measures, it's going to be a bit somewhere that you can go and have a free resource in regards to it, through the lens of nutrition and mindset. So a little bit different, if people, that might help somebody.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. And so we'll try to add that link below. I see that Akanksha's already put a couple of other links for helping people to find you, but we'll also put that podcast down there. Thank you so much for being with me here today, Vanessa. It's been wonderful meeting you, and I so look forward to your presentation at the event.
I look forward to trying to help anyone who is open. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time when I talk with another presenter. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.